Meeting of the Gadsden City Council will now come to order, and the chair calls on City Clerk Ivan Nelson for the roll call.
Councilman Harris.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Councilman Avery is absent today. Councilman Eccles.
Here.
Stewart.
Here.
Cannon.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
We have a quorum present, and our meeting is open for business. I'm going to ask David Lawson to lead the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, we're thankful that you've given us a new day. We ask that your hand be involved in all decisions made on behalf of the residents of Gadsden. We ask that we be on one accord, and we ask that you continue to keep your hands involved in all matters concerning assuring peace in what we would like to call a free world. We will be ever thankful and grateful to give you the honor and the glory and the praise. In this and in your Son, Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the work session and City Council meeting held on January the 15th.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve minutes.
Chair will entertain a motion to ratify payment of the accounts for the week of January the 11th through 17th.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
Proclamations, Mayor.
Is Craig and Scott from the library and Tracy or Tracy? Okay. Whereas a federal tax credit known as the Earned Income Tax Credit is available for working people who earn less than $50,270 per year. The Earned Income Tax Credit was created in 1975 and helps to offset the impact of Social Security taxes and provides an incentive for work. It is the federal government's largest benefit program for workers. The Internal Revenue Service has estimated nationally that 79% of all eligible taxpayers receive the Earned Income Tax Credit, meaning approximately 21% do not claim the credit they deserve. The Internal Revenue Service and its community partners are continuing efforts to increase the Earned Income Tax Credit participation among taxpayers who are eligible. The City of Gadsden is actively participating in public awareness and education efforts regarding the tax credit, as well as the free tax preparation sites. Each year, a day in January is designated as Earned Income Tax Credit Awareness Day, an effort that is promoted throughout the nation. Whereas RSVP and the City of Gadsden are co-hosting the Earned Income Tax Credit Awareness Day event at the Gadsden Public Library on January 25th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Therefore, I, Sherman Guyton, the Mayor of the City of Gadsden, do hereby proclaim January 25th, 2013 as Earned Income Tax Credit Day in the City of Gadsden, and encourage all of our citizens to learn and understand the requirements and visit the library or a free tax assistance site to see if they qualify for the income tax credit.
I'm Craig Scott with the Gadsden Public Library, and Tracy Pondick with the RSVP, the Retired Senior Volunteer Program for the county. As the mayor said, we have an EITC Day at the library this coming Friday, Earned Income Tax Credit Day. And as the proclamation said, 79% of people already qualify and file for that credit, but 21% don't, and that's who we're after. 21% may not sound like a lot, but it's millions of dollars that could be earned on their tax returns and then spent right here in the city and the county. So we'd like to encourage everybody to come to the library this Friday, 9 to 3, and learn all about the credit. We'll also have an agency fair, and I'll have Tracy talk to you about that.
Thank you. I would like to say thank you to the City of Gadsden, not only for the EITC Day that you let us do, but also for supporting our program all year long. And also, we do taxes at Elliott Community Center, and you allow us to do that every year. Last year, we did 1,201 federal tax returns. So that's a lot of people and there are more that can be helped. And we do it for free, of course, so nobody has to pay to get their tax return done unless you own a business or something like that. But either way, we will have several agencies at our Earned Income Tax Credit Day too. Habitat for Humanity, United Way, the Council on Aging for Etowah County, and I'm forgetting. But anyway, we'll have about 4 or 5 different agencies there. And Family Savings Credit Union will also be there to help people if they need an account. Because you know the best way to get your return is to have it direct deposited. You get it quicker and it's much, much safer that way. But thank you.
Thank you. All you people that are listening that have incomes of less than 50,000, is that not right? You can go to the library, the public library, Friday, and hear about the income tax credit if you're not already taking it on your return.
I know quite a few people that volunteer their time to help fill out income tax for, what, you say 1,200 people last year? We really appreciate those people devoting their time to it, because some of them spend a lot of time doing it.
Okay, unfinished business. An ordinance amending city code flood control regulations. This ordinance was presented last week for the first reading. It corrects the previous amendment by omitting the word permanent from the definition of development. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
9 is a resolution reappointing members of the Beautification Board. This appoints Dottie Rogers, George Terrell Jr., Teddy Vineyard, and Tiffany Parnell for terms expiring July the 31st, 2014. And Al Ashley, Martha Elrod, Kitty Pate, Pat Sherman, Barbara Taylor, and Florence Dial for terms expiring July the 31st, 2015. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
10 is a resolution authorizing license agreement with Extreme Events for Barbarian Challenge. This authorizes use of the public park property in connection with the event to be held on June the 22nd, 2013. And the amount to be paid for the permit is $4,000. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
I think this is after the discussion, but I think this is the 3rd year they've done it, and I don't know how many, seems like there's hundreds that came into town last year and participated in that, so it's a big event. 700, I knew there was up in the hundreds, that's great.
Okay, new business. Is there any new business?
Mr. President, I have 2 items. One item is legal document, a resolution authorizing agreement with S&M for stormwater monitoring in preparation of the 2012 annual report required by ADM for joint MS4 permit. I'd like for unanimous consent to consider that resolution today.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution today, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, Consent has been granted.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
And the other item that I have, Mr. President, is an ordinance amending the city code to exempt certain covered items for the municipal sales and use tax during the last full weekend in January as authorized by Act Number 2012-256, generally referred to as a sales tax holiday for severe weather preparedness. I would like for unanimous consent to consider this ordinance today.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the ordinance today, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
Move to adopt.
Second. Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Mr. President, I would like to voice my opinion on this. From what I've been told, that there's so limited a number of items on this list that you can be tax exempt on. It creates more of a problem with the business of people trying to adjust their computers and their checkouts to accommodate this. It's more trouble than it's really worth. And with the limited number of items on here that you can use anyway, I think we're putting a burden on our business community that we shouldn't. So I'm voting against it.
Mr. President, one of the items that under discussion, one of the items that I find is that registers and computers and calculators will have to be readjusted for state sales taxes as well as county sales taxes. So this just, and in all of our surrounding cities will have to adjust theirs also. We will be the only one in our local area that would not do it. So, I'll be voting for this resolution.
Roll call vote, please.
Okay. Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Avery is not here today. Councilman Eccles?
Abstain.
Stewart?
No.
Cannon?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt.
I want to change my vote.
Okay?
I'll change it to no.
All right. I will register you as a no.
Let that be a lesson to you, Billy Harris.
Department reports.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute, you got one?
I certainly do. I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to consider Resolution 013.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution today, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President, this is an agreement between Gadsden State Community College and our fire department. It's for the basic EM1 training at a reduced rate.
Is there any other discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
By the way, on that, on the tax, our finance director asked that we vote against it. She has shows where not only do people not collect the tax on just the items that are on the list, but they just don't collect tax on anything that people buy, which defeats the purpose, in my opinion, and I think I'm like Bill, I think the whole thing is a waste of time, and I think that before the legislatures, the state legislature decides to do any more of this, that they look into it a little deeper and see if that's actually being done the way they intended it to be done. Anyway,
Well, while we're talking about this, I'd like to see a show of hands. Who took advantage of this last year? One person. Okay. one person out of the whole group. Thank you.
Mr. President, and again, while we're on that topic, it should be noted that, you know, the same concern that all of us have, even those of us who voted for this, same concern that we all have extends to the school supplies as well. There's a concern that, you know, that again, that the retailers may potentially not be limiting this exemption to just school supply items or even the emergency or severe weather items, supplies. So that's a concern, and that's a valid concern that was raised by our Revenue Department. So regardless as to the vote, I think we all kind of share that concern as it relates to this whole process.
Yeah, and I think if we suspect somebody out there is cheating and not doing it right in the stores, then we ought to better enforce it. We ought to come up with some way to check them out.
You know, the integrity of the retailer is at stake in a
That's
situation
right.
like this. If there's granted tax exempt status on an item, and it's deemed necessary and supported by the city and the state and the county, then your obligation is to give exemption only to those items listed in that ordinance. You're not to give tax exempt status to every item in the store. So the integrity of a business is at stake when you don't, you know, abide by the ordinance that is passed by the city, state, and the county.
I think some of the retailers find it easier just to exempt everything and not try to pinpoint these few little items that are on there that is intended to be exempt from. So you're going to have that.
Yeah,
You're going to
you're
just
gonna have
exempt everything that day and make it simple.
What's
If
the
you-
fine, what's the fine if you don't do it exactly like the law says? Probably not anything in there. What
You know-
are you enforcing?
Well, that's, like you said about the legislature, thinking about, you know, it's run and react to something, pass it on down, it doesn't affect them anyway, but when you do the school thing, everybody goes pretty much that weekend to buy school supplies and clothes or whatever. But on this here, you know, if it'd been a tornado or anything in the last 90 days or so, I could see where it might be more helpful, but, you know, we haven't had anything in a long time around here, and so I just think that's another one of those feel-good things that come out of Montgomery that's not too good for some people.
All this exemption that we have before us today, I've read over it, and the most costly items would be a generator and plywood out of the whole thing. The rest of them is just under $15 items.
Well, also, I'd like to also just reemphasize that the fact that this is a sales tax holiday for severe weather preparedness. So, you know, you will have the opportunity to prepare for severe weather in the event that you should have it with the passage of this ordinance. You know, we don't have to necessarily have had bad weather yesterday or last week, but, you know, you prepare yourself just like you will in any other situation. In the event that we do have bad weather, you'll want these items before the severe weather or bad weather hits.
And it's, also, she says it's almost impossible to tell what effect it actually has on our revenue. So, anyway, I think we said enough about it. Okay, department reports, committees, are there any? Okay, remarks by the mayor and the council. Mayor, you want to start today?
I will say that past week has been pretty busy for after hours. I think I went to 6 events out of 7 nights this past week, but they were all for good causes. The Boys Club event that they had raised right at $30,000. That's the second year in a row that they've done that. They call it the Mayor's Ball, but I just have to show up in a tux. Beyond that, the ladies that sort of behind the scenes that do all the money raising, they do a really, really good job, and I thank them for all their help on that. The first year we had it, I think they raised about $1,700. And once these ladies took over, who contact people and set it up and sell the tables and all that. They really do an outstanding job, and that's a big help to the Boys Club here, I can tell you. The other one I went to was last night, the MLK annual meeting by MJG, is that?
WMGJ.
MGJ, Florida get me for that. But anyway, they had a good crowd there and an excellent speaker. He was a retired police chief from Atlanta, and he was very, very good. We enjoyed it very much and had a good crowd. That's really about all I got to say.
Billy.
Thank you, Mr. President. To piggyback on what the mayor just said about the MLK celebration last night, those of you who weren't there, you missed an excellent opportunity to hear from the retired police chief from Atlanta. He addressed several issues that are very, very prevalent in our neighborhood, in our community. He addressed the kids, he addressed the ministers, and he addressed the parents on their responsibilities and what we should and should not be doing as far as our kids are concerned. And he was very instrumental. And one of the nicest things that I saw him do was all the young people that were in the audience last night. He had them all get up and come sit on the front row at the convention hall. Have them sit on the front row, and then said, "I expect you to do this next Sunday when you go to church. Not sit on the back row, but sit on the front row when you go to church next Sunday." That was very powerful. And he spoke directly to them, and it was a wonderful event. We're glad that I think, David, that was number 27, the 27th annual Martin Luther King celebration. So we're thankful for that, and look forward to another one next month.
David.
Oh, one more. The Dr. James Hood, one of our prominent residents here in the city of Gadsden, and we all know the history of James at the University of Alabama in 1960s. I think it was 63, 64. His funeral will be Thursday at 1 o'clock at First United Methodist Church downtown, 5th Street. The family will receive friends and neighbors at Sweet Home United Methodist Church. Sweet Home United Methodist Church on Wednesday from 6 to 8. At which time I think there are plans to have a memorial service for him during that time at Sweet Home from 6 to 8 on Wednesday evening. But the funeral will be at 1 o'clock Thursday, First United Methodist Church downtown. And the other thing I had is, well, just to reemphasize again, the earned income tax credit, be sure and take advantage of that wherever you can. Please, thank you.
David.
Thank you, Mr. President. Curly, it's not too late for you to move up front. He's talking about moving up front.
I checked him on it.
You
I
took
know
care
where
of
he's got to go, so everything's all right. Yeah, I checked.
Did want to echo the announcement that Councilman Harris made regarding James Hood. You know, as many of you know, we recognized him as a city. It's been well documented. You know, the steps that he took towards integrating the University of Alabama, and how he served to knock down and eliminate many barriers as it relates to civil rights, and then of course went on to achieve at the University of Alabama his PhD. So it's a remarkable story, and he's a remarkable man and was very sharp up until the very end. So again, we do want to take this opportunity to just you know, remember him for his many accomplishments and great works. And our condolences definitely go out to that family. Also, on another sad note, Councilman Avery's not here today. We got word that he lost his uncle. You've heard him mention his uncle, Mr. Ernest Knowles, on a number of occasions. Well, he lost Mr. Knowles, or we lost Mr. Knowles. So I do want to again send my condolences out to that family, and I know that there was a very close relationship there. So again, we we do send our condolences and prayers out. I think that's all I have, Mr. President. The only other thing as relates to the earned income tax credit is I think the statistic that was shared with us upstairs was that there are 21% of the population that is eligible for this tax credit that does not take advantage of it. Is that correct? So we've got a large percentage of our folks that are eligible that do take advantage of it, but there's 21%. So there's still a lot being left on the table as it relates to that. So again, we encourage those who are eligible to please go out and take advantage of it.
Bill?
I would like to announce that we're having a community meeting at the public library downtown, Lena Martin Room tonight at 5:30. We'll have someone from the Etowah County Drug Task Force speaking to us about the major problems that we have with drugs. So anybody's interested in coming out and hearing a real good speaker, 5:30 tonight at the library, Lena Martin Room. So invite everybody to come out. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do want to remind everybody, it snuck up on me tonight at 5:30 to 6:30, we'll have a Save Our Neighborhood meeting for the people in Walnut Park and the South Gadsden area. We'll be at Banks Park from 5:30 to 6:30 tonight. Also, too, want to remind everyone when you're out and about, kind of check on your neighbors and see, if they're okay. Elderly people's out there, just kind of check on them. The weather is getting colder. I think we need to try to check on all those we can. Just let them know that you care about them. If they need anything, see if you can't help them out in any way. That's all I got.
Ben?
Yeah, the only thing I have, and I meant to ask upstairs, Channel 99, I'm on AT&T and I don't get the council meeting. Didn't we used to be on AT&T? Do you remember? Does anybody remember? Why we're not on AT&T? It's a local, it says local, and you go to it and it's Chicago or somewhere. I don't know.
It's a channel provided by Comcast, if you're not on Comcast.
And that's strictly,
That's strictly a
we had some talk one time with AT&T about it, and it's just kind of slid or gone through the cracks or
Well,
something.
that's where they were, I think we did it where they can run cable too. But that channel was donated to us by Comcast.
Now,
Okay.
you can go to YouTube.
I can go to the internet, yeah. I just wanted to bring it up, so when the AT&T man comes next time, I want to have said something about it now.
But I'm like Dan, though, I thought part of the agreement was that they would carry
We,
council meeting.
we talked pretty heavy about it way back, and then it just kind of slid to the side, and he hadn't been back. So I would welcome him coming back. Maybe Shane, if we could send a letter and invite him to come and listen to us. Who knows?
I did have one other item, if Dan's through.
Thank you, I'm through.
You through, thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Did that intentionally. We will not be having a meeting, due to some scheduling conflicts that I have, we won't have a meeting this month in District 1. We look forward to announcements in the future for us to have a meeting, but we will not have a meeting this month of January in District 1.
Okay, due to Martin Luther King holiday yesterday, Monday's garbage is being collected today, and Tuesdays will be collected Wednesday. There's no changes for Thursday and Friday's routes. If there's not anything else, I'll entertain a motion, we adjourn.
Come on.